Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So, continuing with the subjects we've sort of covered, we've done enchanting, and now we are going to be doing alchemy, and then we have the tailoring one tomorrow for you guys. So, it's been pretty fun making these guides and sort of going over these professions and just sort of really how much I actually surprisingly just know from doing them myself and can sort of relate to you guys. And while I have done so many things covering the amount of gold we can get, how we're getting these gold things, I've never really gone in depth on what makes these professions worth it, why you should go after them, sort of what you like to do, and how you like to play the game that can result in a lot of gold. You know, everyone likes different things. Some people like mining over herbing. Some people like farming with tailoring and enchanting. Some people like just sitting there and crafting stuff. So it really just depends on what you like to do for the game. There are ways to make really good gold with all of them, and I think that's what makes professions really, really awesome. So the more you have, the more money you can make just by sitting in Org or Stormwind if you are Alliance and sort of spamming macros saying, hey, I'm here to help you guys craft whatever. Put in hard work for all these things, and so I want y'all to you know, have the fruits of the labor pay off. So anyway, let's get into alchemy. So alchemy is sort of taking herbs and turning it into potions, and these potions are used in raiding and the PvP, pretty much everything in the game. They just are buffs. They make you do more damage, or they can give you more HP, more mana. They can also turn you invisible or do an AoE effect. Just so many things that these potions can do, and just alchemy is so versatile in what it brings to the table and what you can do with them. So we're just going to sort of do the general overview of this. So one of the rather more expensive things, if you've seen, are flasks. And flasks of supreme power are in high demand because in order for mages, warlocks, shadow priests even to sort of compete with the melee DPS rogues and warriors here on the Horde, especially with Wind Fury, rogues and warriors are even more deadly. You really have to get Flask of Supreme Power, and that allows you to that is a super big seller. You actually get this off of Raz Frost Whisperer in Scholomance. It's a pretty quick drop. I don't think the pattern goes for too much, but what's super tricky about flasks is in order to craft them, one, the mats are super expensive because Black Lotus are so rare to herb. Like a Black Lotus, as you can see here, is running at 180 gold right now on my server. Then the Mountain Silver Sage, that's another 10 gold, and about another 30 gold for the Dream Foil, totaling and making these flasks around 240 gold. As well as, in order to craft a flask, you need an alchemy table, and there are only 2 of them in the game, and those are at Blackwing Lair inside of, if you get a cleared instance, you can just walk in and do it. It's right after the suppression room is the first table you come to. You just run in there and go to the right. You should be fine. If you have a cleared instance, you can go make these, or if you have a guildie or anyone that has cleared it, you can just have them invite you. You will get saved to it, but if you're not going to raid on that character, you can just go in and do it. See, like I've been raiding on my mage way more than my priest here, so I don't really raid on my priest. So if I need a flask, I'll just go in there and make it and save myself to one of those lockouts. So that's sort of it for covering flasks. There are 5 flasks in the game, 3 that are actually used. It's Flask of Titans, which is great for sort of the first day raids come out, or every melee that wants them. Pretty much, there are no strength flasks in the game. You can only get 200 or 2,000 mana, 150 spell power, or 100 or 1,200 HP for 2 hours. So all of these are really good. Those are the 3 you're gonna want. I actually don't have Flask of Titans. It drops off the last boss in Upper Blackrock Spire. It's one that's evaded me, and it sells for like 500 plus gold right now, so I just haven't really bought it. But what you can do to make money really is just sort of go and make a bunch of flasks. This is a super awesome tactic. If you have the recipe and you have the lockout, you can literally just buy all these mats, go make the flask, and you'll profit. This add-on says 33 gold right now. If I were to go buy all these mats off the auction house and go and make the flask, you'll see people looking to trade the mats for the flask in chat for like 20-30 gold. It's sort of just flask running, and you can do it as you can make as many flasks as you want. The more money you put into this, the more money it'll profit. I have never not been able to sell a flask doing this method, and it's just a really good way to pretty much conjure gold, and it doesn't take too much time now that BWL is out and that alchemy table gives you access. So that's sort of it for the flask overview. Next we come to major mana pots. These are Dreamfoil, Ice Cap. You get the recipe from Dark Master Grandling. You can also get it from doing the quest line there and buying it from the blacksmith. If you get the Spectral Ghost Trinket outside of Scholomance, that's a really interesting quest line, but there is a vendor there that will sell the major mana recipe pot down in the blown up blacksmithing part, but you need to do the whole quest line in order to get that trinket that lets you see ghosts. Just something to mention. Other than that, it drops off the last boss and it is bind on pickup. So that's a really good thing. An alternative to that is major rejuve potions. They give health and mana. It doesn't give as less. It could give, like, major mana pots here could give less mana or more mana. Major rejuve just gives you a flat out, right in the middle, average mana. So, depending on how you like to play the game, if you're a gambler, you can go major mana pots. If not, you can go with major rejuve pots. And these just take Dreamfoil, Heart of the Wild, and Golden Sandsam. And Golden Sandsam and Heart of the Wild are super cheap. So, like, these are a sort of cheaper alternative. The Imbued Vials is what makes this a bit questionable on if it's worth it or not. But you know, it's up to you. Do the math. If you like it or not, go for it. Just sort of if you want to play it safer, you can go for these if you're looking to raid. But anyway, I haven't really made any of these to sort of sell, see if they actually sell like this. There's only 8 up there, so I don't really know if people want them or not. I haven't really played around with it to give you a good recommendation on that. But next we have the protection pots, guys. The Arcane, Fire, Frost, Nature, and Shadow pot. Now, all of these are used at some point in raiding. The Arcane were used in Phase 1 with MC trying to kill Shaz really quickly. Super huge then. They've sort of fallen off because people have just outgeared it to where you don't really need those. The Shadow Protection pots, these are super huge, and they actually are made with mid-tier level mats. I've done tons of videos sort of covering everywhere that you can herb Fade Leaf and Grave Moss in order to make the Shadow Oil, which then Shadow Oil and a Dreamfoil makes the Greater Shadow Protection pot. And these are just super good. You can use them for so many encounters, but mainly it's for Major Domo and killing him and just AoEing the ants because they do a lot of shadow damage, and so having those will protect the raid enough to AoE and nuke him down. Then Greater Nature, these are going to be huge in AQ. I would recommend getting these. I've done a guide where you can get the recipe. It's in the Eastern Plaguelands, or Western Plaguelands, my bad. It's over here in this cave right here, the Weeping Cave, drops off of the mobs in there. Yeah, that's a really good place to get that recipe, and then this recipe is so worth it come AQ. Like, if you don't have elemental earths, go stockpile them because people are going to be using these so much. And then next we have Greater Arcane Elixirs. This is huge for casters. This recipe is super rare to drop, and it sells for quite a lot, 500 to 1,000, maybe even more now. Just depends when you get it. Like many of my recipes, I got this phase 2, so it was pretty early on. I only snagged it for about 300 gold. It's not as rare as stuff like Bottomless Bag and +4 stats, but it is still really nice. And you can just make a lot of money just making these and selling these because of the rarity of it. There's not many people with it, so you'll see people looking for it. You can make those to very well. It just takes 3 dream foil, 1 mountain silver sage, and is pretty nice to make. Then some other potions, Mighty Rage potions, some warriors use those. Limited Invulnerability potions, we use these for PvP and sort of dropping aggro. They're also really, really nice. And it's just sort of going into all these elixirs and what you can get. Elixir of Giants is a good alternative to the Elixir of Mongoose. If you really, really just want the most effective way that I have found for the cheapest amount of investment, it's probably Mongoose elixirs. They're always used. Warriors and rogues love these for the agility and the 2% crit hit that you get. And you can, it's 2 Mountain Silver Sage, 2 Plague Bloom, which are super, super good and easy to farm. Plague Bloom is actually skyrocketing. You can really get Plague Bloom over in the Eastern Plaguelands as well as Western. I prefer Eastern just for that chance at the Black Lotus that you don't get in the Western Plaguelands. But that is more into herbalism. But the Mongoose Elixir Potion recipe is it's really easy to get. Drops so much. You can get it for under $1 from what I've seen pretty much the entire life of my server here. So it's super cheap. You can make it, and these things sell for 6-7 gold a pop. So just really, really good in order to make that money if you want to. That's sort of a general overview for Alch. I completely forgot to mention also the transmuting. There are a few transmutes that are really worth it. Arcanite is really, really good. This is once every 2 days. You can just make 10 gold profit. Like if I go buy the crystal and thorium bar, do this, put it on the auction house, we can sell it and make 10 gold just like that every 2 days. Super good for passive income like that. And so with all these alchemy stuff, we could go into it a lot. Another one that's really, really good is Undeath to Water. That recipe is super rare, but definitely if you get this, I would recommend learning it and sort of using that. You'll make about 10 gold every day on that one. And then another one that comes out is Elemental Fire. Now this is phase 5. You can get this with Thorium Brotherhoods, which is pretty easy to get. And you can just Heart of Fire into Ele Fire, and then Ele Fires are what are used for greater fire protection pots, which we will see a lot of those. And then these Frost pots, these are going to be super huge when Nax comes out. As you can see, they're already jumping in price a little bit, so something that you might want to consider stockpiling. Just depends on your server and what you're sort of running into. But alchemy, it just has so many things. There's so many uses for all these potions. Even with phase 5 coming out, we're going to see some awesome stuff right around the corner. Stuff like the firepower, frost power, shadow power, these are all in, but the greater firepower is going to be huge. Once phase 5 comes out and we can actually get the recipe, I will definitely show you guys where we can get that. But stockpile on fire oil and fire bloom, guys. I'm telling you, this is going to be a huge investment. I made a bunch of videos covering the herbing of those and why you should cover them, but now as we get closer to AQ, you're really, really going to make a ton of money with these. I have a bunch of fire bloom. I think I'm up to like 300 or so. It's really, really good. So I would stockpile the crap out of those, as well as the fire fin snappers if you can, as well as fire oil. Those are all going to be really, really good. And fire bloom, I'll actually go into the brilliant, into some of the oils that I mentioned with enchanting too. So that's another reason to stockpile it if you're a caster. But I really think that's it. Something you can also do, when I mentioned bots, when we in my tailoring guide that you'll see tomorrow. But at level 35, you can get Arcanite, or you can get up to 300 profession. So if you want a true bot, you can have them be an alchemist and a tailor, and just sit at a moonwell and just stockpile them with Arcanite and some mooncloth, and you can just make as many of those as you want per cooldown, and just a really great way to make passive income. That's completely up to you, but it does take level 35. So I really think that's it. This is a pretty good overview. Alch's definitely the easiest way to make a lot of money, especially if you have an herbalist. You can these potions that I've mentioned and have highlighted here, these are the ones that people use for raiding and PvP, and they use them all the freaking time. So you can really make a lot of money by doing that, getting those and sort of rolling with it. And Alk, just like that Elixir Mongoose, like, it's so in demand and so used, especially here on the Horde. It's really good. Because it's so cheap and can really flip a lot of profit. So if you have nothing else, I would probably say go Alk Herb on anyone. It's very consistent, very good income. Alrighty guys, with that, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Alk was actually a bit longer than the others because there is so much to talk about when we come to alchemy and where you can get stuff and its uses, and yeah. So if you have any questions or would like to talk about it, please just let me know and I would be glad to answer those. And yeah, so thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me. If you happen to find anyone that you know would also benefit from watching this video, please share it with them. It helps me out a ton and allows me to keep doing what I love every single day, and that is gaming and sort of helping people any way that I can. So finally, thank you so much, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Goodbye.